This episode of The Lab Inside the Game Industry is brought to you by Midwest Games. Live from New Jersey, Los Angeles, Chicago, and Madison, Wisconsin, this is The Lab. With your alchemists, Angel Guevara and Greg Posner. Tonight's special guest, Christopher Adamson from Stretch Sense and Mark Mikunas from Fingers on the Moon. Also starring Cassandra Liu and Rick Bauer. Tonight on The Lab Inside the Game Industry.
Hello guys, and welcome to another awesome, great, and cool episode of The Lab. I am your host, Angel, and I'm here joined by my awesome co-host, Cassandra and Greg. How's it going, guys?
Very good.
It's great. Cassandra made it to the main fold here. Well, welcome to the main stage here, Cassandra.
Thank you, thank you.
How's
Hey,
everyone
man.
today?
She's taking that main stage, if you know what I mean.
There you go.
Yeah. We're gonna
Alright,
talk about me a little bit.
Awesome. Yeah, guys. So previously, Cassandra was doing her own segment. She's still doing it, right? But we talked to the producer and we're like, Patrick, we need Cassandra right in front with us. So, he made it happen and we're happy to have her. How are you doing, Cassandra? How do you feel?
I'm doing great. I'm very excited. I think I'm gonna be here, talking about games with you guys. Because sometimes I'm in the back. It's like, oh my god, I need to join this conversation right now. So yeah, I'm so happy to be here, and then looking forward to today's episode.
Of course. And we are super happy to have you. Greg, how's it going, my man?
Hey, man, it is Wednesday. It is beautiful here in New Jersey. It's like life is good. I can't complain, and I'm excited to be here with the two of you. And it's been said on chat already. Rick is back. He's not in tonight's episode, but we are working with it to make sure he'll be good to go for next week. And we're excited about his Richter scale segment. But we're gonna have the whole gang together again soon. I feel like it's been a minute since we've been there.
It's been a minute for sure. Rick, we are super happy you're back and looking forward to talk to you again. Guys, welcome to the show. If you could please just type on the chat and let me know where are you guys watching us from, that would be great. Just type, let us know where you're watching us from. Very happy to have you. Let me give you a quick shout out from our sponsor, Midwest Games. Midwest Games, thank you so much for sponsoring tonight's episode. Very grateful for that. And let's talk about a quick preview on tonight's topics and guest. Greg, who do we have today?
Tonight we have a jam-packed show. We have Mark, who Cassandra was working with Fingers on the Moon, right? They are building their game, which we're going to talk about in a little bit here. And then we're also joined by Christopher Addison from Stretch Sense, where we're going to talk about VR and XR and this cool ways of having new inputs. So it's going to be really cool to hear from a indie gamer who are building a studio. What type of game are they building? It sounds awesome. I'm really excited to hear more and learn more about the game. And XR and VRs and all those Rs are always a fun topic to hear more about. I love the immersion. I love how it's being built, and I'm excited to hear from him, from Chris this year, hear how it's being built and what they're doing.
Definitely 100%. Very excited for that. And guys, please remember that we have stickers. We have some interactive stuff. So if you see a sticker you like or something you want to share with us, please go ahead and do it in the chat. I always like to, start the episodes by telling our audience that here at the lab, we value interactivity. We value engagement. So if you guys have a question, if you have a comment, if you have a question for a guest or for us, or you just want to mention something briefly, please do it as soon as possible. Interactivity is king. So we would love to hear your opinion. We would love to talk to you. Please go ahead. Regarding games, we obviously talk about games, right? I wanted to ask you guys, what games are you playing right now?
Right now, I'll kick it off. I have two games I'm playing. One is a mobile game, which is called Midnight Girl, and it's a point-and-click adventure, and it's a story-driven game, and I didn't think it is the type of game I would like at all. but it was awesome. I beat it in like 3 days, so I guess I'm not really playing it anymore, but it was fun. And then on my Xbox, I'm playing Avowed because that is out now, and I had to try it because Microsoft put all their eggs in like 6 baskets, and that's one of them. And it's a really fun game so far. It's very much like Skyrim. On Hell You're Young, I don't know if you ever played Skyrim. It's been on every system that's ever come out, but it's a fun kind of throwback to an RPG.
Gotcha. I've heard there's a bunch of mixed reviews on Avowed. How is it for you? Are you enjoying it? Like,
I'm
how is
loving it. I mean, I'm used to playing online games. It's kind of like a good story game. I could turn my mind off, and yeah, I have no negative things to say about it. I think it's really a blast. I'm wondering if anyone in chat is an Xbox player playing Avowed right now. You know, giving it a Sniper Elite. Whew, that is a tough game. I heard the latest one. Sorry, Carbon Fiber, Augustine. Cassandra, what are you playing?
Yeah, so currently 2 games too. So first game I already talked about it 2 episodes ago. I am still playing Bilateral because I am a type of gamer who's obsessed. I want to like finish all the levels. I'm about 66-70% finished to the end. So almost there, guys. Almost there. But yeah, of course this game is amazing. So I can always like replay every day. Right now it's a little bit busy, so I play about like 30 minutes an hour every day. And another game is actually for our family night. We currently playing Super Mario Party Jamboree. It's the new Super Mario Party that came out last year, and I never played the first Super Mario Party, but this one is amazing. Like it has like just like a Monopoly type of mapping, like everybody taking turns, and then play mini games. It has 120 plus mini games on there, and then it's all very creative. It's all very fun, and yeah, just real super recommended for like a party or family game.
awesome. I heard Jamboree is sort of like a mix of all the Mario parties together.
Yeah, and then it have like separate session, like rhythm game, and then it has like separate like mini game but bar like, base something like that. It's super fun. Yeah, it's so easy. Everybody can enjoy it.
All right, I love that. I love that. All right, guys, if we go to the chat, there's some people who commented what games they're playing right
You
now.
say what you're playing on, Hell, man. You're leaving us out
Yeah.
here.
Hey, man, I saved the best for last, so I'm gonna keep you guys in suspense real quick. So we have Agustin. He says he's playing Sniper Elite. Awesome. I'd buy that for $1. This person is playing Scorn. Have you guys heard of Scorn?
Sounds familiar, but no.
It's sort of like a puzzle game. Oh, dude, you guys see these? All
Sweet
right.
there, dude.
I
Dragon
dig it, I
Ball
dig it.
style.
I'm going Super Saiyan right now. We have Scorn. Carbon Fiber says he never liked Skyrim. Ooh.
It's a terrible person. Come on, Augustine, get it together, man. Everyone likes Skyrim, then they don't like every game after it.
Gotcha. We have Space Mollusk playing Spore. Spore, isn't that like the old like
The EA game from like 30 years ago.
Dude, I remember that. Yeah, that's a throwback for sure. Personally, guys, I am playing Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. Very fun. I'm finishing up Ninja Gaiden Black 2 and playing Metaphor Refantagio. That's taking me like 1,000 hours, but hey, we're hanging in there.
Hey man, when I'm done with Avowed, we'll have to talk about Kingdom Come Deliverance versus Avowed and see which one's better.
Dude, I feel like it's like comparing apples and oranges, but you know we can do that for sure. Let's go ahead.
One was free, the other wasn't free.
Okay, we have Life is Strange Double Exposure. All right, all right. Kind of like a narrative driven game. I like that.
Yeah.
Awesome. Guys, let's go to the game news that we have for today. Unfortunately, we had another layoff happening with Monolith Studios. Are you guys familiar with it?
Yeah, man, Monolith made a bunch of older games that there was one game, No Time to Die or something like that. It was WB. They're all part of the WB family, and WB has really been for lack of better words, not doing so great with their decision making recently. So I know they decided to close about 2 or 3 of their main studios or bigger studios, and I think Monolith was the bigger one, and you'd know them more from like the N64 days, I feel like, and after that. But it's poor leadership at these companies, and the beauty of what we do is we talk to indie games a lot, and indie gamers are gamers who want to make games, and there's such passion there, and we talk to some studio heads that are built for passion, but then you have someone like WB, and they make some good games, but the people at the top don't understand gaming, and they say, hey, let's take the Arkham formula and make it live ops, where like,
Live
no,
service.
no
Yeah.
one had asked for that. Like, if you make Batman, it will sell a lot, but the people at the top think, well, live ops, live ops, live ops. So
Yeah.
it's unfortunate to see that. There's a lot of great developers, engineers, everyone at these studios are amazing, but these decisions that are being made by higher ups are just kind of not ruining it, but yeah, ruining everything.
Exactly. Cassandra, have you heard of these news?
Yeah, I do. I also saw the Wonder Woman game get canceled. Yeah, I'm actually, like I would play a female protagonist action game actually. So I feel um ashamed because like they put in lots of effort to it already for many years for all this developer who people working on it. So unfortunate news, like Greg just say, is all numbers game for the top executive. So yeah, that's just unfortunate.
Yeah, definitely a shame. And I don't know if you guys remember, but they made Shadow of Mordor and they developed the Nemesis system, which is this cool AI system that they had, and they were gonna use it for the Wonder Woman game, but apparently that's not happening anymore. And they patented, so another studio cannot use it. So is that gonna be lost?
Yeah, it's been lost for the past 10 years, it seems like, as it is, right? So I think someone's got to iterate on it and or kill the patent of it. I think, and the Wonder Woman game's an interesting one, right? Because I feel your sentiment, Cassandra, but people also have to understand that these games haven't gotten far for a reason, and it could be that the game just doesn't work. I think there's a lot of people that say you have to find the fun, and right, maybe they just haven't done that, right? I think we were talking on the pre-call about Anthem, and I think everyone blames EA, but I think it was BioWare was sitting on that game for like 8 years, not able to move it forward, and EA gave them full like whatever you want to do to get like sometimes poor leadership within the studio itself is the reason these things happen. And I'm not excusing WB. I don't know what's happened there, but as a gamer, we're all quickly saying WB is the bad guy here, but we don't know the full picture or the full story.
Hmm.
Fair enough.
Sorry,
No,
that was just random rant there.
no, totally. I feel like when we see these news, we often get angry at this, we get angry at that company or that company, but I think it's not as black and white as we think we is, right? It's a little bit more complicated. So I appreciate that take, Greg. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. When it comes to March, it's almost here, guys, and there's so many awesome games coming this March. Guys, in the chat, if you could please let me know what games you're looking for this March, I would love to hear that. Greg and Cassandra, what games are you guys looking for this March?
I don't even know what
All right.
games are coming out in March, man. Can't even get to the games in February.
Man,
Let's
Yeah.
see. Why don't you start, Cassandra, if you know, or else we'll put it right back on Hill and make him answer first.
Sure, I did my research. The game I'm looking forward to is Split Fiction. It is by the studio who made It Takes Two, and then I think everybody know how successful It Takes Two was. So I'm excited to see because you would know from the name it's gonna be a split screen co-op game again. But like as a developer, you're trying to wonder, are they going to do the same like setup to because it was super successful before, or they're gonna change a little bit. So, and then yeah, it's really hard to know like what gamers like or not. So I'm just like waiting to see on that perspective as well.
With that game, when the guy who started the studio came out on the Game Awards to announce the game, he had just so much passion, so much energy when he was talking about it. It's
yeah,
just like, this game's got to be awesome because it goes back to the same, like, he seems like a gamer, right? Like, he's going to build a game that he wants to play, that we all want to play, and he already proved that with It Takes Two. So it's going to be amazing.
exactly. It's beautiful when you see people at the top having that passion to make games, right? I love
Yeah.
it. In the chat, we have Carbon Fiber Music saying, to be honest, I want to try the new Assassin's Creed.
You didn't vote
Ooh.
on that the last poll, man. You didn't say Assassin's Creed last time on that. You said, I'm more looking forward to what, Civ? Civ, is that what you said? Carbon
No,
Fiber?
I said, yeah, I'm still waiting. Gotcha. Oh, Kyle Quaid says, I'm still waiting for GTA 6, but I don't think that will be in March. Nah, we're going to have to wait a little bit more.
I got an answer for you now on Hell.
Yes, Greg, what's up, man?
This random game I found like 2 years ago on Game Pass was called Wreckfest. And Wreckfest 2 is coming out this month. And it's basically like Destruction Derby, right? Like figure eights. Like I used to remember when I was really young, I'd go to the arcade and there was this like big wheel game where it was like you top down, you look over the track and you're kind of going around the track and you had the wheel and you're doing that. And like it's that type of game except with like full collision stuff. And like if you ever played like a Twisted Metal type of game, right, you can kind of knock people out like that. And it's coming out this month and I'm oddly geeking out about it because I love just crashing shit and seeing parts of a car go everywhere.
That sounds like a fun time. Yeah, I love that, bro. I love that. For me personally, I don't know if you guys have heard of this game before. It's called The First Berserker Kazan.
Nope.
Have you guys heard of this? Chat, have you heard of this game? So basically, you guys know me. I do love Ninja Gaiden. Dude, I'm loving the stickers, man. I love Ninja Gaiden Black 2. I love Elden Ring and all those games. And The First Berserker Kazan, it's sort of like anime Souls-like type of game. So for me, that's like it hits all the spots. For me, that's like the game for sure. All right, let's see what else we have in the chat. Carbon fiber music. I'm also waiting for Ghost of Yote. Yes, Ghost of Yote looks really awesome. Space Mollusk, Monday recommended. Oh, Atom Fall. It's like British Fallout, right?
I've seen a lot about that recently. It seems like it's getting a lot of hype.
All right.
I thought originally it was a mod. I guess it's not a mod, right?
No, I think it's a full game. They did a mod called Fallout London recently.
Right.
Oh, yeah, another thing.
Which is supposed to be awesome. I thought it got canceled or like canned or not finished or something weird happened with it.
Yeah, hopefully not because it looked really cool. Awesome, guys. Thank you so much for that awesome banter. Producer, let us go to the poll. We have a really cool poll to start the show. Let us go. Let's see. All right, guys, I have a question for you. So gaming handhelds are everywhere. We have seen several companies make their own gaming handhelds. If you could please let me know which gaming handheld are you looking forward the most in 2025 and why? We have 5 options: the Nintendo Switch 2, Lenovo Legion Go 2, Lenovo Legion Go S, the Nitro Blaze 11, or the Steam Deck 2. Which one is it? Please vote. And remember to put the exclamation mark and the vote when you want us vote so it can show in the poll.
What are you voting for, Angel?
Dude, Nintendo Switch 2, 100%. What about you guys?
I'm interested in the Steam Deck too, since I can't use my PC after my kid's bedtime. So it'd be nice to have a little way to PC game from somewhere that's not my PC.
100%. Yeah. What about Cassandra?
Same here, Switch 2, because it's been a while. And second of all, like I like to play some co-op games, so it's really nice. I love the design. Like, yeah.
Yeah, it looks really cool. The only thing I don't like is the fact that it's not OLED. That just kills the whole vibe, dude.
Yeah, you gotta sell another system later, you know? Hey, how are we gonna sell this again? We're gonna throw an OLED like we did last year on there. Like, come on, man. Come on, it's killer.
Exactly. All righty, guys. Let us see the poll. Let's see how it's looking.
Poll's not working. Beautiful. We got votes, so if we like now, we got a Deck 2 vote, Deck 2 vote, Deck 2 vote. We got I can't count yours, Rick. You voted Nintendo Switch 2. That's not an official vote. All right, you got Switch. So it looks like it's between decks. Sorry, Lenovo. No one's really interested in your legions here.
It's all good. Yeah, it seems the Deck 2 and the Nintendo Switch 2 are leading the way. Awesome. Thank you, guys. All right. Then let us go to our first interview. I'm very excited to interview Mark from Fingers on the Moon. But before that, let us see that trailer. Producer, hit it. Cassandra, welcome to the show. How are you guys?
Very good. You just
Yeah.
saw me, so I'm doing good.
Doing very well, Angel. Very nice to meet you, and yeah, I'm really excited to talk about this.
Yeah, let's definitely talk about it. So, Mark, this game looks really interesting. It's sort of like, I would say, Persona meets Rock Band or Guitar Hero. You have to manage relationships, but you have to make your own custom songs and play them. Tell me about this game. Tell me about Take the Main Stage.
Yeah. Okay. So the basically the tagline is it's the ultimate wannabe rockstar life sim. So we kind of think of it as a creativity simulator. Um, but the inception for this game actually came from the conversation portion of the gameplay. So back in like 2020, with the beginning of the COVID lockdowns and all that, I had kind of been an engineer. I've been an engineer my entire life and a musician, but you never found the right game to kind of work on. So I've done more like app, mobile, web, that kind of stuff. But I began my life programming games on the Commodore 64. So, anyways, the original idea for this in 2020 was people were terrible to each other, and I kind of had this empathetic notion of maybe it'd be really cool if you could have a conversation based gameplay where it's emergent and the things that people are thinking are kind of more the currency of the game. And at that time as well, serendipitously, I had watched a Sid Meier interview, or it was like maybe like a GDC conference or something. Anyways,
Mhm.
he was talking about like if you make artificial intelligence too good, players think it's cheating. If you make it too bad,
Yeah.
it's not fun enough. So I kind of had the idea that it would be really cool if you could make the basically the byproduct of the AI going through decision trees and all that, make that the actual currency, so you could actually see kind of what the computer is thinking, and then that just lined up exactly with, well, that's kind of what a creative does, is it looks for inspiration, like the different things that people say and all that. So the original idea for the game came from that, and then Cass and I, we joined up, and then it turned way more into a life sim. So I kind of look at it as it's a hybrid game. It's a life sim, but it has rhythm elements. It has strategy elements. You kind of go about your daily life, but it's set against the backdrop of like a strategy game where you have victory conditions. So you can kind of try
Right.
to be the best songwriter, be the best live performer. But you actually have to make your own music in the game. We have a songwriting interface. You have to talk to people and forge your relationships and all that. You have to perform the songs you write, rehearse with your band, all that kind of stuff. So I'll stop there and let Cass talk for a moment.
Yeah, totally. So it's just like I don't know on here if you played Dave the Diver before, but it's like it's a world and then you can do a lot of things, right? But the goal is still like, you're trying to make it to the rock star, so you still need to achieve a victory condition. So it's like strategy, but cozy strategy, but with a lot of life management. So
Yeah,
yeah, that's about our game.
and bringing in the music side of it, because that collides perfectly with my favorite form of expression.
Yeah, I love that 100%. And if you guys didn't know, Mark was the person who actually helped us make the music for the intro. So, W Mark. Mark, I
Oh,
wanted to ask you, yes, I wanted to ask you, you're a software engineer, you're also a musician. These are very different things, right? How do you combine these two passions and create this game? How do you find a kind of like a balance between these two?
yeah. So as a child, um, I I saw a friend had a Commodore 64, and I absolutely fell in love with it and begged my parents to get one for Christmas. So I started making games at an early age, and then concurrently with that, I fell in love with music. So I got like a little Casio keyboard and eventually a guitar, and then played in bands throughout my life. But it's really not just that. I always think back to growing up. My dad told my brother and I, and it has always stuck with me, that the most important thing you can give somebody is a gift that you made, because anyone with money can buy the same thing for somebody else. So creativity has just been the driving force. So then I really got into like poetry and making little terrible home movies and all that kind of stuff. But um, music is kind of the creative art form that it's weird. I don't think of programming as a technical art. I think of it as creative. I think of it as I'm not the type to obsess over like language semantics or something like that. I look at it as a means to an end, to make something creative. So I guess it's strange. I don't see music and programming that different. It's a form of expression, and especially video games that I think are like the confluence of mankind's or humankind's progress. Like when you think about like games have physics and art and 3D graphics and incredibly complex math and logic and philosophy and sound engineering. When it all comes together, it's just it's a perfect expression. So I think like everything fits in. Oh, and narrative design and all that. So it all just blends perfectly.
Yeah,
Sorry.
yeah, totally. And I often hear people say, because my normal daily job as data scientist is also a very logical job, and then I also produce my own music. I do have Spotify profile, and I upload my music there, release an album soon. So like people often say, oh, it's a left brain thing and a right brain thing, but I agree with Mark. Like you can't. I don't think it's like they kind of blending together. Sometimes you just like switch a little bit. Even like inside of my music producing, I think I'm using lots of like logical thinking. And then in terms of like when I do my normal data science job, sometimes I will bring some like interesting artsy thought in there. So I think it's just like blending together and then just switching different mode.
Yeah, and it all has that same euphoric endorphin release, to that rush of creating something. Yeah, exactly. Like be it a song or a really cool game mechanic, or seeing like your little NPC kind of respond in a way that impresses you.
Mhm. All right, I love that. Definitely, I would say, yeah, I agree with you guys. I feel like people often they see like music or like programming as two very separate things, like left brain, right brain. But there's definitely a way to combine them or have them in the same place, right?
Yeah, and especially if you're making a game that like ours that incorporates music, and being a tiny little indie studio, it's great because if you get bored coding, or if you get bored,
Write a song.
yeah, you write a song for the game. So it's like you're constantly changing up kind of what it's. Yeah, you're not pigeonholed into working on one thing all the time.
Exactly, exactly. You can do programming, then take a break from that by creating music and so on. I like that. Something that caught my attention was the fact that it's called, take the main stage, the ultimate wannabe rockstar life sim. So not the ultimate rockstar life sim, but the ultimate wannabe rockstar.
Yeah,
What's the
because
difference
because the interesting part is the journey, not the destination. So what we wanted to do is really simulate the creative life, the struggle of how you find your inspiration to create your art. And second of all, I felt like personally, I feel like if you were to start it at the point of being a rock star, and this could be a famous last words, maybe we write a sequel at some point where you actually do. But right
there? Right.
now, on the fly, I'm going to say that it just seems less interesting to me. Like it feels less rock and roll to once you achieve that stardom, then you kind of it feels like you're not as hungry. It doesn't have that punk drive, that energy of like doing anything to
Mhm.
survive. And that I think is more interesting than trying to buy a bunch of mansions and
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know.
Especially because there's a strategy involved. When there is challenges, when there's difficulties, there is strategy, right? And then so that's why like we have a victory condition, and then we definitely like people need to work hard, think hard. So that's perfectly like for a game. So yeah.
Yeah, you're right. It's a whole different type of drama. Um,
Hmm.
yeah,
Yeah, exactly. And you guys want to like represent the whole scrappiness, right? Of like being a wannabe rock star, going to the shows, talking to people, getting your name out there. Yeah, I
yeah,
can see
Yes.
it.
exactly.
Exactly. Guys, we have some really cool comments coming on regarding your game. Kyle Quaid says, I want to play this game. Looks super fun, awesome, super creative and fun. Love all the different elements of the game. We have I'd buy that for $1 saying I'm a software engineer and musician as well. It's not dissimilar at all. Creating code versus music, same difference. Ooh,
Yes.
interesting. Alrighty. Guys,
I
something
think
else that Oh,
I
sorry,
think
go
that
ahead, please.
I think that might be my friend Greg, and if so, totally with you, my friend. Love you.
All right, awesome, guys. I wanted to ask you about the whole vibe of the game. It seems as though it's the early 90s. I saw like the brick phone, grunge, Nirvana kind of vibe. Was that intentional? Was that an era that you guys wanted to portray in the game?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And in the future, we would kind of look at having different DLC, yeah, where you could play different eras and stuff. But the reason we chose the 90s, especially at that point, like 92 was right, I think somewhere right around Nirvana was hitting, like maybe 91. It just
Yes.
felt back at that point, music had such a more transformative effect on the zeitgeist that yeah, it felt like a good time to set it where maybe there was more of a monoculture or something, but people had yeah, you could have kind of dissatisfied people in the music industry kind of change things. So yeah, it was definitely very intentional, and it also felt like um the 80s has been done so much retro in games.
Yeah.
So it felt like the 90s was a better if you were to do a game about a struggling artist in a, it just felt like the 90s was absolutely perfect, and it allowed us to kind of like it was a time also when there was such a varied in music. So Cass wrote a song like if you go to the scene where you have to talk to people, we have it in a techno club, so there's a techno song. We have, if you go to that one of the live band performance, maybe it's kind of a grungy Alice in Chains type song. Then, in your apartment, it's kind of more like indie pop type of thing. So it was nice because there was such a more diverse landscape of genres that,
Mhm.
yeah, it felt like you can kind of do anything at that point.
Yeah, totally. And then I never live in. I'm not in United States in 90s, but Mark keep telling me that in 90s, there are lots of indie grunge scene, and then people actually appreciate that. So the originality, like people actually will go to grunge bar to see live music, and that's a thing. And then it seems to me like 90s is such an era that kind of have a like art. People appreciate arts. People appreciate
Weirdness, yeah,
yeah.
celebrated weirdness and
Yeah.
uniqueness and all that kind of stuff. Yeah,
Exactly.
which was something kind of I love. I feel like it's
Exactly.
missing a little
So
bit.
I'm convinced.
Awesome, definitely. Yeah, if you guys see like media, music, games, TVs from the 90s, they have attitude, they have a flair to it. Nowadays, everything is very monolithic, right? Everything kind of looks the same. Why do you guys think that is? Is it the internet? Is it like the interconnectivity? Why is it like that?
Well, it's a good, I think, deep question, which I'm, you know, at this point, I've probably Cask should definitely answer this because I've kind of pulled myself out of. I'm really not much on social media. I'm
Gotcha.
in my own world, so you can definitely answer that.
That's very interesting on here. You're asking a very like deep question. So I think I think maybe somehow we're a little bit more like profit driven these days. So I guess
Mm,
one game or one music or one artist they became super famous, and then there will be a lot of people sing just like that, wrote song just like that, like make game just like that. So I just feel like um and then make an idea that's like so different, that so new, and then even like the investor doesn't really know if it's going to be successful or not, so people just play safe. I feel like my personal opinion is like people play safe, and and then it's more like profit driven
Brilliant point.
nowadays.
Yeah, I'm
yeah.
gonna completely agree with her that a lot of it is, yeah. And the like you guys were talking about with the big studios, the risk of failure. That yeah,
Mhm.
they do that amount of investment, and if it's not a hit and it takes 4 years to 5 years to develop something, you're screwed if it goes bad. You can't necessarily be nimble.
Yeah, and then also like for other generic audience, like I want to say like really hope people to appreciate like indie more. Maybe independent music, independent game doesn't look as polished as those like big studio, but just see through the surface and see the core. If you know if the idea is like interesting and inspiring, and then you right.
Yeah, 100%. I agree with Cassandra. That was a very awesome answer. And I wonder if you see like TV shows like, let's say for example like Evangelion, right, or something like that, who's like very like personal. I wonder if we would have that nowadays, right? It's especially when we see like Marvel movies and things that are being made right now. It's not really like an indie director sharing his or her vision. It's more like we gotta make a product for people to consume. So I love what you guys are doing with your game. I wanted to ask you guys, one, where can people find you? And two, when can we play your game?
Well, yeah, we would love if everyone went. Just go to Steam and search for Take That Main Stage, which, by the way, is Cass's brilliant name. But yeah, if you search for Take That Main Stage, our Steam page is up. We do have a demo, but it's not open for the public yet. We're basically only let a couple of publishers check it out. The reason being is we do want to iterate a little bit. We're constantly getting new artwork and getting new polish and all that kind of stuff. So within the next, I don't know, maybe 2 months or so, definitely we'll have something to release to the publishers. I'm sorry, to the public. And then I'm sorry, what was the second question, Angel?
Yeah, the second question is, yeah, when can they play the game? Do you guys have a
Oh,
release date?
the full game, not for about a year, probably. We're
Okay.
hoping. I mean, we can keep going the self-publishing route, but we're hoping that potentially we can attract a publisher, just because the game right now has a bunch of our unique selling points built. You can talk to the conversation battling, you can collect thoughts, you can craft songs, and you can compete in the rhythm band. But it's basically it's a vertical slice that just shows those couple of things. We still need to kind of flesh out a lot of the full gameplay life cycle. So we're looking. I mean, we have it all kind of specced out and all that, but it's about another year until like a full release.
All right, and we are very excited for that. Mark and Cassandra, it was a pleasure. Thank you so much. Guys, take the
Likewise.
main stage. Please check it out. All right, guys, we back. Greg, how did you like the interview?
I loved it. I think Mark and Cassandra both had some really cool things they spoke about. I think the one that stood out to me the most that kind of got some banter in the chat was both kind of how engineering and creativity kind of it's the forms of expression. I always understanding you're either a numbers person or a words person. I feel like if you're coding, you're a words person. And the same thing with musician, right? I think it all is aligned. I think it's awesome stuff. I also highly agree that the 90s is the best era of music and the best way to go for grunge music. So I am very excited to play the game and we can play it because I think it looks awesome.
100%. Yeah, Greg, I agree with you 100%. Guys, if you could please, if you're watching us and you haven't subscribed, please make sure to subscribe. We want to, up those subscriber numbers. So we are very grateful if you could do that for us. Let's read some of the chat. Carbon Fiber says, everything sounds the same nowadays. For me, it is social media, but mostly the streaming services like Spotify. Before, it was about talent. Now it's about how many followers you have. Ooh.
I love it, man. I don't know if you saw Augustine. We should share his little audio reel that he did. You don't realize the little things that go into making a game, whether it be audio, whether it be visual, right? And things that really pop. And like this whole thing is a giant orchestra that everyone has to work together. And sometimes one team has no idea what another team is working on. And seeing how audio is made and seeing all this stuff and how it's made, I think it's so cool to kind of see how individuals really take love into what they do. And it shows you that even with AI, no matter how good AI gets, when you have that human touch infused with it, it makes something that's extremely more valuable than just an AI putting a beat together.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, totally. And we saw with Kareem, right? Last episode, he was talking about lighting and how lighting influences the game and the mood. Do people really think about lighting in games? Not really, but it's so important, right?
For sure. We did a Alchemy Live with him, and he was walking through it, and he said something about, so I took a note here, the color harmony and the art of lighting. And I thought it was just like terminology I've never heard before, and I had to look it up because it shows you how a Pixar scene is made using color harmony. I'm just like, wow, I've never even thought about this, but every scene you see, it has that going for it, and then it kind of makes sense. And again, you don't know how that sausage is made at the end of the day, but when you start taking it apart and realizing how it's made, it's fascinating.
Yeah, totally fascinating. All right, we're done with our first interview. Let us go to Cassandra's section, Lab News with Cassandra, game events around the world. Let's go.
Hi there. Hi, it's Cassandra again. Here I'm gonna tell you about all this, what's going on around the world, the global event and local community updates of this week. So first event we have here is the EverCon 2025. And this event will kick off this Friday to Sunday, 3-day event, and it's gonna hold in Roosevelt, Wisconsin. So it's going to hold in Central Wisconsin Convention Expo Center. And this event is a player and gamer driven, so which means it's going to be lots of fun for you as a gamer to go in there. And then the event included like tons of vendors, there's artists, game showcase, and then there's cosplay competition. And what's even fun is if you go on their website and you click attend and go to like the schedule, there are 300 plus like game table, which means like you can actually create your own little game table, whatever you want, like the board game or role-playing game. Like you can even do Uno. Like you can open your own Uno table, and then let's say I need 5 people, and then people can actually register and join your table. So this is gonna be like a giant live like game room. So that would be really, really fun. Well, I don't have time this weekend, but I'll definitely join if I have. So definitely check it out. Right, the second event I want to highlight is the South by Southwest 2025. This event will kick off next Friday, March 7th, and it's going to go all the way till next Saturday, March 15th. So it's a week-long event, but this event is celebrate all type of media and arts. So not limited to game, but like film and TV and comedy, education, and even culture and the tech, right? It's everything. So it's more like a festival type and conference, and it's going to be in Austin, Texas this year. And I always love Austin, such a city with great vibe and culture. And if you're nearby, you just want to join, there are music fest and film fest. And then unfortunately the batch is a little bit like the price, right, to participate in this event is a little higher. It's like high hundreds to like almost a little bit 1,000. Because it's a week-long event, but not this year, but next year, if you want to showcase your game and you apply, right, and you can actually enter and participate in a very lower rate, like 100 and 200, so it's more affordable. So that's something to think about for next year. All right, so the third event I want to highlight is the Tokyo Indie Game Summit 2025. Obviously, it's going to be in Tokyo, Japan. And then it's kickoff March 8th, Saturday, till March 9th, Sunday. So 2-day event, and there are about 200 plus indie games showcasing. They all look awesome. And if you say, I'm not in Tokyo, how do I participate? You go on their website, and then there are this tab called Title. You clicking there, it have all these 200 games, their location, like the booth location in the summit. And also if you click there, it have all the information and Steam page, so you can definitely, it's also a good place to shop around for your wish list. So you can just take a look. I already have Kimono's Tea Time in my wish list. So all right, so that's some events. And then next I want to highlight is the GDC 2025. We're officially 19 days from it, so not too far away from it. And this year's theme is Connect the World Through Game. I truly feel like the gaming community is very loving and supportive and very global. So looking forward to this year's GDC. And if you haven't get your ticket, try to get it before March 15th, because it will be still cheaper if you get the ticket last minute. And the lab will actually have a meetup with all the alchemists. So we will share more detail about the meetup of the lab alchemist in the future episode. So stay tuned, and that's it for today.
All right, Cassandra, thank you so much for giving us that information. GDC 2025. Greg, are you ready,
Yo.
my friend?
Am I ready? I think I'm ready, man. And you're never ready until you're already there, you know? It's a lot of planning and a lot going on, man. This is your first one, right?
First time, yeah, I've never been there before.
Any things that most excite you about GDC?
Dude, I would say, honestly, for me, of course, I want to network, possibly find potential clients and such. But for me, the most important thing is just meeting people in person, people that I've seen on LinkedIn, but to finally see them in person and talk to them, that's what I'm looking forward the most.
Yeah, man. Networking is everyone there is a gamer, everyone's in the industry, and you know, both the community of the lab, the community of who watch our podcast, right? I'm excited to get together and as Cassandra mentioned, right, we're gonna have an event. It'll be you, myself, Monday, who's been on a couple times, and a bunch of the other people that we've worked with before. Augustine's gonna be there, right? I'm excited to, like you said, we've talked to them online. I've seen you on the computer. I'm excited to meet you in person, man.
Dude, and actually, because if you guys go to the lab website, before, for some reason, I was like shorter than Greg. Like I was like this tall and Greg was like this. But we found out that we're the same height. So I want to see that in person, dude. You know what I'm saying? I
Yeah,
thought Greg was like a giant.
I am a giant. Don't worry, you'll see. I have
I
my
mean,
high
like,
heels, my platform shoes, whatever they are.
awesome. Greg, I wanted to ask you, you've been there before. Do you have
I,
any, some like wisdom for us? Any advice?
yeah, the things I would tell you are if you're not LinkedIn savvy, which I think most people are LinkedIn savvy these days, become it because you're going to exchange information with people real quick. And the LinkedIn has a QR code you can scan if you're not familiar with it, where you can quickly trade information and do it with everyone and anyone there. Thank you, Carbon Fiber. He's saying I look like a giant too. Thank you.
All
My
right. Yeah.
whole family would be shocked. What else? It would be it's a marathon, not a sprint. Meaning, you know, you land Monday, don't go crazy Monday, because then the rest of the week is going to be rough, right? So it's a marathon, and just be prepared to talk. People think conferences are nothing but fun, and they are, but it's a lot of work. It's a lot of talking to people. SpongeBob knows what I'm talking about. And it's fun, but be prepared. It's long days.
I can imagine. Yeah, I was someone told me to bring like water and snacks, comfortable shoes.
Yeah, for sure. Snacks and supplies, man. And always find people who are putting on lunches or breakfast and sign up so you got breakfast and lunches to go to.
Awesome. Let's go, man. Should we go to our second interview?
Let's do it. Let's bring up Christopher. Christopher Adamson, welcome to the lab. How are you doing today?
Hey, I'm doing great. Thanks for having me here.
Yeah, Christopher is with Stretch Sense, and why don't you kind of break it down for us? There you go. He's wearing it. Well, what is Stretch Sense?
So Stretch Sense is actually a motion capture glove that is used in the film industry, film and game industry, for capturing your hands. A lot of people think of motion capture and they think of the big suits with the markers all over them and Andy Serkis playing Gollum. But what they forget about is your hands are actually need some articulation too. So Stretch Sense is one of the top manufacturers of hand motion capture gloves. And kind of what separates us from everybody else is we use these silicone sensors. So you can kind of see the shininess on top of my hand here. This is actually silicone. And what it's doing is it's tracking my motion and then sending this over to our software where we record all the motion and put it on 3D characters. So you all can play the games with these hands. Yeah, so that's what we do in a nutshell.
I love it. You know, I remember years ago when VR first came out, right? And everyone was thinking like, it's cool. They tried to look at their fingers, and their fingers were just either non-objects, right? Because these things
hands.
didn't exist, right? Yeah. So over the years, right, we've seen different starts of iterations of different kinds of gloves and devices for your hands and peripherals to make it work. But
Yep.
I don't know enough of the space. I haven't really seen things come fully out. But then I saw kind of what you guys are doing. It looks amazing. I mean, it's being used both in movies. I saw you have SDKs for both Unity and Unreal as well to kind of build it out there. I'm curious on kind of where the idea came from. Like, how was it born?
The idea of Stretch Sense, where it was born. Well, so the sensors themselves were used in a lot of like medical applications back 10 years ago. And then there was this goal for the gloves, like where can we take them that what can use this silicone sensor to like really track well? And it's like, well, if you put them on your hands, you can track a lot of motion. And what's interesting about that is because it's silicone, you don't have line of sight dependency on cameras. Your body's moving it. So it's very lightweight, it's machine washable. And it leads to a hand tracking solution that's not only like very affordable. If you look at other hand motion capture systems, it's very scalable and it's very immersive. So as a motion capture actor, there's a lot of complaints on putting too much hardware on your hands, and then you can't hold a gun when you're doing your, rifle capture or anything like that. Or if you're punching a punching bag, it's like, I punched this punching bag, now I broke my knuckle. Like, it's not good. So this particular glove, the studio glove, was born in the summer of 2023 with the idea of like hyper immersion and making it very wearable for the masses. And that's exactly what it is. It's a $7.95 glove that anybody can wear. Stunt people really love it. And then kind of building off of what you mentioned of having the open SDK and what we're seeing is because this glove is so wearable, we had a lot of big simulation training and VR companies reaching out to us wanting to make the gloves put into their games, which are training modules, but we're like, that's a very cool idea. So if you look at Stretch Sense, what we do is you can actually take this glove right now, and we have a Steam VR app that you can launch, and you can play any of your Steam VR games using the gloves. So we have like a really cool Half-Life demo, and when you're actually pulling a trigger, like I wasn't that into VR. I'm not the biggest gamer, to just be completely frank. But when you put these gloves on and you actually put the headset on and you're used to holding controllers and punching through geometry and just it's not an intuitive, like immersive process, but you put the gloves on and you can actually grab your hands and it's making a grab, or you're holding a Nerf gun and you're actually playing a like first person shooter. It feels like you're immersed in it. It's super cool. So
Are there haptics built into it? Like, are you feeling yourself pick up the weapon, pull the trigger?
not yet.
Oh, yeah. How do you come up with these use cases? I find it fascinating, right? You talked about how it started in the medical industry as training, right? Then you got reached out by some of these apps, right? Like, how are you testing these new use cases to figure out, does it work here? Does it work there? Or are you kind of letting people who have the gloves figure these out, figure, hey, I want to try and do this or that?
Yeah. So we still are in the motion capture market. So we still do sell these gloves into a lot of the AAA game studios. I think it's the numbers like 8 of the 10 major AAA studios use the gloves. Baldur's Gate was a big one that the gloves were used on. So that's like a stable business line for us. For the medical trainings and like military trainings and all these VR simulations, which also lends to like the massive gamers wanting to use the gloves. That was just derived by people using the gloves, seeing how easy they are to wear and use, and then saying, well, it goes right into the game engine in Unity and Unreal. Can I just make the gloves in Unity and Unreal? So yeah, you can. And then people started doing that, and it became a pretty interesting like path to send the gloves down. So that's what we're doing.
And I love, I mean, I know it's a lot, but at the end of the day, $800, $795 is not a lot for something like this. And especially when you get so immersed into it, right? So I'm wondering if there's like indie studios that are reaching out to you. And I know indies don't have a huge budget, right? But like, again, for $800, and you can have this whole different level of immersion from within your game. Do you see that market starting to pick up from your side of, hey, there's smaller studios outside of the AAA that are purchasing this type of equipment now?
Yeah, 100%. So to give some historical context, there's still a glove on the market that is more precise, but it's called the Fidelity glove. But this glove is like $3,000. If you're trying to like play a harp or a piano or do something like super articulate, then those are the gloves I'll still recommend. These studio gloves, though, that at the $795 price point were a game changer, because in motion capture, a lot of times it'd be like, okay, the hero character is gonna have the Fidelity gloves on. We'll pay for that, and then the rest of them will hand animate and blah blah blah. So what happened when we launched these studio gloves? Everybody's like, it was like the Oprah deals all over the place. Like, you get some gloves, you get some gloves. All the animators get gloves. Like all the background characters and actors get gloves. So then now you're creating way more content, saving the animators a lot of time and getting better content because now you have nicer finger motions.
Have you seen any wild use cases or uses for the glove that kind of blew your mind?
Oh, man, I've been in motion capture since 2008, so I've seen a lot of interesting use cases. Recently, there was a really neat guy I talked to who was a musician, and he was using the hands and gestures to pretty much DJ a musical set. So as he was like doing this, like the music and the sound would change and the sound waves. And I'm not a musician, so like I can't say exactly what he did, but he was using the gloves as a control module or like a MIDI controller to make music. That was a pretty neat use case.
I don't know if you have met Mark from Fingers in the Moon, but I feel like you got that perfect integration for the music game there, right there, and bringing the whole immersion to a whole nother level there.
Yeah, totally.
You mentioned you're not a gamer, and that's cool. I'm questioning, do you have a use for the gloves on a day-to-day basis? Have you like hooked up something to your computer to make it easier to like do things because you have the gloves and you can almost multitask?
No, technically, I guess I could do some like I could do some 3D modeling or something, but
there you go. It could be like Ghost. You can make the whole clay thing.
Oh yeah, definitely. Ghost and rock paper scissors are kind of the two most requested kind of fun demos to use in the gloves.
Yeah, I could imagine. So it seems so cool, especially again, I have my VR controllers over there, right? Like they're nothing. They're just things you hold, and if I can just keep my hands natural, and it just seems like I can be so much more effective and with it.
Yeah, like I said, it's when you want immersion, it's like you don't realize how unimmersive it is to be holding a controller, or even if you have like a hand tracking on a headset, if you're trying to make gestures and you're seeing that little blue hand on like a quest, like twitching and fizzling out. Like, no, you want your hands to be robust and steady. And that's what it's really cool that like we built these gloves into the market. We were first in 2019 with gloves. So it's like have the robustness of what a motion capture session takes in a game, but then you're going to be able to play the same thing that track those hands as a consumer playing your game. Like that's to me, that's just a really neat concept.
Yeah, I agree. It's wild to think of. I mean, especially how we've gotten here after all these years, right? Like it's becoming more and more just hands-on physically, and
Yeah.
it's just cool stuff that's coming. For our lab audience, is there anything that you think that would be a cool nugget of information for them to know, or something you want to share with the audience? Just in general about the gloves.
Oh, look, I can look down at the audience.
This is more of a question for you. Is there anything you want to share?
No, I would say definitely check out the stretchsense.com website, see what we're up to. We constantly are updating that website with more and more where we're going into this VR simulation world. So check us out, and yeah, that's all I'd have to say. Thanks.
Cool, man. Yeah, we'll post to the Stretch Sense URL in there. There's some cool stuff coming. They're revealing something new March 12th with XR training, which will be interesting to see. And again, I think it's cool stuff you guys got going here, Christopher, and I really appreciate you coming here and talking about it.
Yeah, cool. No problem. Thanks for having me.
All right, man. How is it going, guys? You guys gonna get some VR gloves?
That's super cool. You know,
Yeah.
I actually did acting when I was in college, and then that's always one of my dream, like, you know, to be able to like get back to acting. I was like, oh, I always wanted to, like, you know, try those, like, one of the motion capture gear or whatever to, like, you know, capture like
Yeah.
the acting in those gears, and it's just something like amazing, you know, look amazing, and then like very super interesting.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, I mean, $7.95, depending on where you are, is really not that bad for this type of technology that's so immersive and really kind of, it could be a game changer, right? I mean, keeping your hands free to do different things, especially when you can register each finger, right? It's kind of wild, and the things you can start to do.
Yeah, I was thinking, imagine playing Half-Life Alex with these gloves. The level of immersion, dude. Oh my god.
Oh, he's
Oh,
crazy.
apparently we already can. All
All
right.
right. Well, there we go. Now we got a reason. He's gonna be at
Gotta
bringing
get
in
them
GDC.
gloves.
Can we play it at GDC? I think only we hear Christopher. I don't know if everyone does, but he will be at GDC too, and we can check it out there. So if you come to GDC again, follow the lab and figure out when we're going to be there, what we're doing.
Yeah, dude, I am excited. Okay, guys, that was a great interview. Chat, can we please get a W for Mark and Cassandra and a W for Chris? Can we get some W's in the chat? Big W. Hey, yo, let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Yeah, Cassandra has the right idea. All right, guys, let's go. Before we go to our spin the wheel game, guys, I have a question for you. Here at the lab, as I mentioned before, we're all about engagement, all about talking to you guys, making those connections, right? But we're also about feedback and improving. And I wanted to ask you guys, what would you like to see more on the show? Is there something you want to see more of? Are there ways we can improve? How can we make this show better for you? Please let us know in the comments below.
What do you want to see more of, Cassandra?
Me? No.
There we go.
I was
Done.
no, for me, I think, you know, like, it's been a few weeks. I love, you know, all of our guests, and then we're sharing different things all the time. And then I feel like, you know, if we can adding more like little interactive game. I know we're already piloting it, but if we're adding a bit more, you know, here and there, you know, I think that would be cool, you know.
Yeah. Hell, you're looking for anything else?
Okay, so honestly, something that I was thinking about is, like, of course, we are in our own houses, you know, like record, like, you know, live streaming and such. I would love to see us going to like a live event, like GDC or something, and live streaming from there, talking to people, getting questions from the audience, kind of like having an audience there and an audience online. I feel like that would be super fun.
Yeah, man. Next GDC. Done.
Yeah.
Dude, we gotta make it better. We gotta bring that interaction more. Greg, what about you? Anything you want to see more?
Yeah, man. I want to see more games, man. I want Rick back. We need some. We talk the talk. We show the show, but we don't play the game, man. We gotta get some games in here. We're on Twitch. We're on everything. We're talking games. We gotta play games.
I agree.
So
Yeah, 100%. Rick, we need you right now, my dude. Right now, we need Rick. 100%.
coming soon. Coming next week. Rick, the Richter scale. Are we ready, producer?
All right, guys. We have, I don't know if you guys remember, but for our first episode, we had Josh Garrity, and he was talking about his game, The Floor is What, and he's also working on a sports game. We have some footage for that. Please take a look. All right, that was super cool. Guys, we're almost finished. Do we have any final thoughts?
GDC, baby. It's on my mind. It's nonstop. It's not going anywhere. I'd say don't keep your eye on us for GDC. What we're gonna do, be like Cassandra, play more Balatro, because Balatro deserves all the playtime in the world. And I appreciate you guys and our community, especially, and our guests as well for educating us about nice googly eyes and everything. So I appreciate everyone for this today.
Yeah, guys, thank you so much. Before we leave, though, a very interesting thing. So, Balatro, I heard that it's pronounced Balatro. So, Balatro means kind of like jester or fool in Latin. So, it's not Balatro, it's Balatro. That's what
Get
I
out
heard.
of here, man. No one asked you.
Hey,
You're killing the
man,
vibe.
dude, like when I heard it, it just blew my mind. And I had to tell you guys. I had to tell you.
Sorry, guys, all the time. Like, I love this game. I can't believe it. Okay, Balatro, right?
Yeah.
No, Balatro.
Cassandra is like, I don't care. I'm just going to play whatever it's called, right? All right, guys, we are done for today. We'll see you next week. Very excited. And thank you so much for coming.